A homeowner in Jacksonville, Florida was shocked when he found that someone had entered his house and no one was there. It happened on August 14th. The man's name is Justin. He was inside his home when his Ring doorbell camera outside the house alerted him to the fact that someone was at the door. But when he looked through the camera, he saw no one. Then he checked the rest of his cameras, and this is what he saw. The front door was opening and closing. The back door was opening and closing. Then one of his bedroom windows was opening and closing. But how and why? For a moment, Justin thought maybe it was a ghost. Sometimes doors open and close by themselves. Sometimes you feel a cold spot and you think, am I crazy or is there a ghost here? But then you realize it's just the air conditioning. It's not a ghost. But in this case, it definitely wasn't the air conditioning, because there were no signs of forced entry and nobody was there. Animals sometimes crawl through open windows, and they like to open doors too. Dogs like to open doors. They like to push things off tables. Cats knock things off shelves. They do all kinds of stuff. But Justin says there were no signs of any animals getting into his house. So what else could it be? Well, how about an invisible intruder? Now, some people are going to watch this video and say there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything we see here. There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for the doors opening and closing on their own. But I'm telling you right now, whatever that explanation is, it's going to be just as likely. If you believe in ghosts, if you're a paranormal investigator, maybe you've seen an episode of Ghost Adventures or something like that, then you probably think there really are ghosts and that there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. Whatever the explanation, it's up to you to decide. For me, I'm going to go with invisible intruder. Not a ghost, but an invisible person. If you're going to break into a house, you got to be sneaky, right? You got to be quiet. You got to make sure you're not on camera. So maybe this person was trying to be invisible. Maybe they were wearing a special suit. Who knows? Whatever the case, this is pretty creepy. The good news is Justin wasn't home when this happened. If he'd been home and these doors and windows were opening and closing, he probably would have gotten out of there pretty fast. In fact, if this happened at my house, I would have called the police and I'd have said, "You got to come over here. I think there's somebody in my house. They're opening doors and windows, but I don't see anybody." And the cops would have shown up and they would have said, "What you need to do is get out of the house." So that's what I would have done. What would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments. By the way, if you want to see more short videos, check out the Shorts channel. Also, give this video a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe.